Hey yo, peace, power, progression. If you don't know, then you done know. You're now inside of my realm. Inside of my realm is a divine frequency, so come and get everything that you need. Whether it be clarity, prosperity, whether you need abundance, whatever you need, it's here. For you to access. So without further ado, we're just gonna get into it. Today we got a reasoning session. We're gonna build a little bit on a knowledge type tip. So what we're gonna chat about is Eurocentricity, what Eurocentricity is and how to break out of Eurocentricity. So, what is Eurocentricity? What is that whole thing about? If we break down the word Eurocentricity, it's Eurocentric, or European being the center, Europe being the center. So it's basically this way of life, or this way of looking at life, where the European culture, customs, manners, language, all them things, they are placed on this pedestal above all other life, and everything else is minimized and put down. Eurocentricity has been pushed upon the people, pushed upon our people, through years of slavery, through years of, manipulation, brutalization. What we call the Great Ma'afa, the great destruction that happened to we people, where we was introduced to a lot of foreign concepts, a lot of foreign systems that was not naturally native to we. So when we're talking about this, to conquer enemy, I feel like you have to expose the enemy. You have to see, okay, what a man got going on over there. Okay, I can see he's exposed here. Okay, I can do this and this and this. So that's what we're doing today. We're not talking to build or point out the problems that we know that the white man have and the Europeans, and we're not coming to put out the problems. What we're saying, upon the we people, that's not what we need. We need something that connect to we. So anyway, there's so many forms that the Europeans have taken to impose this worldview. So number one, let's just start with a language, man. The language thing. The fact that I even speaking in English. We as African people, we don't have our native language that we once spoke, that we once chat to each other. We have forms of dialects of a language that was imposed on us now. That's all we have now. But even in how I chat to you now, the idea of professionalism is this Eurocentric concept, because how I chat now is not seen as a standard. Even the fact that the standard English is a base off of them, man. Standard English based off them, not off of we and we tongue and how our vibration and stimulate things. It's not based that way. So them kind of like impose them language and say that if you speak this certain way, if you articulate this certain way, if you chat this way, that's what's gonna make it proper. That not make it proper. That's just something that they impose on us. You know what I mean? So that's Eurocentricity in itself. Thing when we talk about when we talk about the professionalism thing, it's like that. Even the idea of what's professional, because the same natural way that I speak, the same natural way my hair grew out, and then when I say I'm a professional because of that, what I mean, like if I walk in to a European setting, I'm trying to get higher, and I come in with African formal garb, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna say? Hmm? What like, It's not in them same classification system where they can be like, he's still coming from, but I'm coming with a culture now. I'm say I have to assimilate. You see the idea what I'm say professional, what them consider professional, that's what they consider professional. It come from somewhere else, you know. That not natural to us. Even when we talk about time, our African people and melanated people, we kind of move on polychronic time. We don't move on the monochronic time. Monochronic time is point A to point B. It's a time and a place for that. But culturally, nah, we culture now move that way. But that is what considered professional. So these just examples. But it's in the language and it's in the professionalism. What we consider professional. It's in the TV, the programming, the propaganda. It's in all of that. It's in all of these roles that we see melanated people being in. And even when melanated people are in them roles, them not talking them dialect. Them not bring no culture to the show. Where you say in them home, we just have it not really be so connected if you see it on the television. Where say you'll see somebody who might be Mexican or somebody that might be Hispanic. You see them, you're gonna see their culture immersed in the show. It's gonna teach you something. I mean, I almost said Dora, for example, but not necessarily. But you see what I'm saying, though. You see what I'm saying. Check it. So, beauty standards, how what's considered beautiful in European eyes and European culture, that that's also what is kind of like one of them holds, one of them chains, because I don't look through that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is completely subjective, based on how your mind is, how your vision is, how you perceive things. That's where beauty comes from. So that's just another chain. That's just another chain. And then you got to look at the education. When I learn about our people, all we learn about in schools is primarily European societies and European history and them figureheads and them historic people. But when I learn about the revolutions, them not teach us say about slave rebellion. Them not teach us not even just slavery, about Mansa Musa. Them not teach us about Timbuktu or the countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Or them not really show us the history of them places or the fact that Africa as a continent, as the countries are there now, they're not even 200 years old collectively, other than Ethiopia, because these countries that we see over there now in Africa are not city-states that were developed by the ethnic regions that was there. These are places that were split up. We're talking about the Berlin Conference in 1889 or 1888. I believe it's 1889 though. This is when they split up Africa. Europeans split up Africa around the table. Say this for me, this for you, this for me, this for you, as if it's a damn pie. And all the countries that we see over there now is a result of that process over a long time. So, but now it ain't even been that long. Because like I say, it haven't even been 200 years and maybe not even 100. You know what I mean? But most of these countries, they got their independence and became the countries that they are now in the last 70, 80 years. In the 1960s, a lot of that was when it really began to get independence. So it was not too long ago at all. You know what I mean? So all of these, but we don't learn about that in school. We don't learn about with people. We don't learn about African culture. We don't learn about the slave rebellions. Greatest slave rebellion happened in Louisiana. And then I wonder why Haiti and Louisiana, like targeted, man. When you learn about that, when you can learn that, damn, the greatest slave rebellion inside of here, like the most people, was in Louisiana. And they like, down, earthquake down here, Haiti. That's where the first free country by rebellion happened in Haiti. And then you think, damn, Louisiana get hit too with a hurricane, you know what I mean? And then it just cycles revolve, you know what I mean? And you see, okay, these people coming for these people, because them realize that in every one of them revolution, African spirituality was at the forefront, was in place, or, the preacher man them. But when I chat on that, I keep that on the low. So yeah, that's just a few ways of what Eurocentricity is and how it's been employed. And this is also what we need to break out of, what we need to adjust to. The ideas of the original self, the ideas of what we come from. We need to break out of these European lenses and consistently dissect them because they're everywhere. The ones that I named is not even just it, you know what I mean? But those just the ones that I'm putting out there. And we have to see, because we have to understand that colonialism was not an era. It was not a time period. It was not. It was it was a ongoing process that's still going on today through different forms. We're still colonized because we still not speak with native tongue. We have to remember that we came upon this land as prisoners of war. So we still don't speak our native tongue to the fullest. Like I said, I only speak a dialect of English right now. So you know that this is not like we original tongue. But I must still say that this is whatever, you know. So it's like we have to look every day and see what way are we colonized, where's the Eurocentricity, and break that shit. We have to replace it with, you know, understanding with self. I mean, a lot of people that say Afrocentric, but it not mean the same thing as Eurocentric. Because when you're an African man and you done been ripped away from your culture, it would be best to get your culture back, you know. It'd be best, you know. So if you're at the center of your own reality, you can learn from yourself and, and go back and get what you done left. Some kofa. Go back and fetch that you left behind. Go back and get it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So yeah, now just keep it short, man, because the video already gets some time now, and I like the build, so we'll we'll return to this potentially, probably with another perspective on it, you know, like Afrocentricity, you know, or just the importance of aligning with your own self and keeping awareness of whoever you are and your indigenous being, not even just an Afrocentric thing, but your indigenous being, your original self. So yeah, until the next time, we'll